Robstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome to the Robstar Report. Man, lots of emotions, lots of mixed emotions in here. Lomax, what's good? Underground West, what's good? It's like I don't know. Like, here's the thing that's so weird about this. Like right now, chat. Because we're going to break down this Tampa Bay game because it was an absolute choke job. We're going to talk about the refs. We're going to talk about the Panthers. I don't know what to feel right now, right? Because we definitely didn't take the clean road to the playoffs. They didn't clinch their own, they didn't clinch on their own field. We didn't win our final game. Hell, they didn't even finish with a winning record, and yet here we are. It's just crazy to think about, man. It's like I'm not. It's not like I'm not happy. You know what I mean? All right, Earl Locklear, what's good? Old school Panthers fan, what's good? It's like it's not that I'm not like happy. It's just like would have loved to have done it differently. But we're going to dive into that, man. We're definitely going to dive into that. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. On your way in, make sure you pound that like button. You hit that subscribe button. And make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. Broski Bear, what's up, man? Tyrone, what's good? Brad, what's good? Earl, I hear you. We're gonna break it down some game film in this game as well. Definitely gonna be breaking some game film down. In this game. I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy, dude. It's so insane. Like, I don't like. Part of me wants to put the shades on, man. Should I put the shades on, chat, and should I be humble or should I be just like absolutely ecstatic? Like, I don't know. Should I just wear the shades for the morale? I don't know. I was thinking about getting the prime time shades, right? Oh, Lord. I mean, it sounds like I should put the shades on, right? Should I put the shades on? I don't know. It's just crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about where we've come from, man. It's crazy to think about where we have come from. And I tell you what, let's break this Buccaneers game down first, and then we'll dive into the rest of it, okay? All right. I'm just going to give you a few key takeaways from this game. We've got to talk about this run game, man. First things first, we got to talk about this run game over here. I mean, well, here's the thing. The thing that pisses me off about the Tampa Bay game personally is that the fact that we just had everything in front of us, right? We had control of the NFC South. We probably shouldn't even be in this conversation right now because we should have beat the Saints and we should have beat we beat the Buccaneers in the first time we played them. So we shouldn't even been in this position in the first place. Let's make that clear, right? Obviously, this team is the Cardiac Cats. This is a 2025 version of the Cardiac Cats. They have literally taken probably years off my life this year. I'm going to be honest because I've never been so stressful in my life. I think this game was the most stressful game I've witnessed in a very long time. You guys saw me on the live play-by-play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and another thing is too, like, we had, and we had a chance to validate our entire season's worth of progress if we win this game, right? And unfortunately we lost, right? But it doesn't matter now, right? But in the moment where we lost this game, This was the most direct and clean shot at our postseason that we had all year. Now, we are celebrating thanks to the Atlanta Falcons, but you know, we are all hoping before the end of that Atlanta Falcons game that someone was that they were gonna bail us out, and by God, they did. By God, they did. I mean, this is weird, man. Like, this was an ugly football game from the jump. The first half was played in miserable conditions that turned the offense really into survival mode. But once the full 30 minutes played out, the reasons for the loss became pretty painfully clear for me. And it wasn't just about weather. All right. Now let's go into the film room real quick. Give me a second. No. Nope. Nope. Rushing. Let's go with, actually, you know what? Where can I search? There we go. Let's search Rico Dowdle. All right. And let's go with rushing. We're going to watch his plays. Now, the issue with this team is the run game just flat out failed when it mattered in this game. It did. It flat out failed when it mattered. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you. It did. And the Panthers cannot run the football right now. Like, this has been creeping up for us for weeks. Like, and it really exploded in our face in this game, right? Since the Green Bay road trip, the ground game has quietly fallen off a cliff against Tampa Bay. It was completely unusual. Like, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard combined for 14 carries, 19 yards, which is honestly impressive in the worst way possible. In a game where their footing was bad. I mean, look at you just saw that. Timing was messy. Explosive pass was going to be tough. Carolina need to lean on physicality in this game, and they couldn't. That's another issue. They couldn't. So there was just no push. There was no wiggle room. I mean, you're falling right there. There was no second level success. Tampa Bay really controlled the trenches in this game. And Carolina, I mean, our offense never really recovered from it. But my goodness. And we could talk about the officiating and shall we? Let's talk about the officiating real quick. Why don't we? All right, we'll go into this film room real quick. Let's talk about the officiating. I can pull up the officiating plays. Let's go with a pass. And let's go with a pass, and then let's go with the Rico Dowdle play. Let's go with the Rico Dowdle pass. All right, so let's go with that. Let's go passing. He definitely had a pass. Hold on. I'm trying to find a penalty here. Actually, I might be able to pull it up on X. Hold on. I'm trying to find the clip of him passing it backwards. Give me a second. Actually, I probably have it in here. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. I had to go on X to find it for some reason. I could not remember where this spot was. All right. So this is a perfect example of the officiating that was so bad in this game. So bad in this game. All right. And here's the thing about the officiating in this game that was so bad that they got dragged out, to be honest with you. All right. I didn't feel like we walked out of this game empty-handed because we played poorly. I felt like we walked out of this game feeling like we've been flat out robbed from a fair shot. And it wasn't about one missed call or borderline judgment. Like, this was a slow, methodical accumulation of officiating mistakes that consistently landed Carolina's side of the ledger in the biggest game we've had in decades, right? And again, I get that it doesn't matter, but I want to break this game down. All right. The reason why I waited to break this game down so late, because I wanted to see what the Atlanta game was going to come up. All right. But when the margin of errors are razor thin, and you got this title on the line, the kind of incompetence hits different. Now, the bad feeling that turned into a long afternoon is that there was already an unease heading into this game, because there was a lot of rumors about Brad Allen and that officiating crew, right? That has developed a reputation around the league, with the fact that they're not very good, right? They have absolute terrible play calls constantly. This is nothing new that we don't hear or see around the league. And again, it blows my mind that the NFL is $1 billion league and they can't. It's like they pay these guys part-time. This officiating crews, I think, in the offseason, I think NFL's got to come up with something, man. But these guys got to be full-time. Like, we were getting flagged early in this game. You could point out the questionable calls in a high leverage games. It's crazy that, like, for example, the unnecessary roughness on Mike Jack when he was talking shit with Baker Mayfield. Like, we can't talk shit back and forth anymore. Is that something that we're just not allowed to do? Right? Coincident or not, Allen's crew did nothing to quiet those concerns once this game kicked off, anyways. And he set the tone early, especially with that one. And it never improved. But again, this whistle right here should have never been blown. All right. The first gut punch of the game came on a backward pass to Rico Dowdle, right? Dropped the ball, recovered it cleanly, had open field in front of him. Instead of letting the play continue as the rules require, the officials blew this dead. And they even said that the ball went out of bounds. I don't know where that came from. But you watch this play. It's a screenplay. And okay, he drops it, cleans it up. But if you watch the hold, chat. Ready? Okay, if they don't call this dead, 96 might not be getting to Rico. Maybe he might not, but you don't know, right? Because at this point, this play is dead. But look at this open green field right here. That is not subjective. That is not judgment. That is a flat out rule error. And this ball is thrown behind him. Let me see if they throw, shout out to Jared for the clip. I wish I could find this. What was the situation? Does he have it? He doesn't have it. See, I wanted to go back to see the film room. I'm trying to remember. If anybody can remember how much time is left and what down that was. So, it's just such that's just one of them, right? Carolina was fighting. You know, the problem is that that's a potential. But this is a potential junk game that was erased by, literally erased by, a whistle that never should have existed. And from that moment on, we were fighting both Tampa Bay and the damn officiating. All right. Now, let's go to it. I got another clip here. I got another clip for you. Let me go find it real quick. Okay, no, we'll go back to that one now. We'll go back to that one. Okay, here it is right here. You know what I mean? How is that not called? How is this not called? This one is blatant, bro.
Yeah.
This one is blatant. Hello? I mean, that is a clear face mask right there on Tommy Tremble, and it went uncalled, despite his helmet being ripped clean off. How his helmet doesn't just come off. There was no flag. There was no explanation. And immediately after that, the Panthers were hit with one of the most baffling calls. After that, this offensive PI. Where's it at? I'd rather do it from this view. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. Watch this. Watch. Here's T-Mac at the top, chat. And here's the thing. Basically, all McMillan is doing is he beats man coverage with strength and he uses leverage, something that receivers are coached to do. And the officials decide that somehow that is illegal. And it wasn't. And they were wrong. And when you thought it couldn't get absurd, we'll get into the Nick Scott one. But this is what frustrates me. Watch this play. All right. He's just he beats man press. Boom. Get him out my way. Boom. Give me that. Okay. But watch when the flag comes out. Oh, it doesn't show it. The flag doesn't come out until after the catch. You know how I know that? Because if you go watch my short recently, it'll show it. Here's the picture right here. Shout out to Carolina Dad for this image. And he's completely correct. The official did not throw the flag until he knew it was going to be catch. The official who saw it right in front of his face didn't throw it. Flag comes out after the catch. It's blatant, bro. But you're allowed, even if it's a push off, you are allowed. That's the thing. That's the thing that I'm trying to make here. You are allowed to have leverage for at least for 5 yards. I mean, it's a hand fight. Is it a push off? Is it a push on? Because, I mean, we can go back and watch the film. Either way, here's the thing. Even if it was a push off, you have to call it within the 5 yards. And he didn't. He waited until after the play played out. He didn't throw it as soon as the push off came upon. That's the thing that's the problem. So could it have been offensive PI? Yes, possibly if he pushes off the right way. Now I'll go back to the clip again. I'll find another clip. Maybe I can get a closer view up on it. Watch right here.
1-on-1 against the rookie.
I mean, that's a closer view. But again, at the same time, it's even if that is offensive PI, You cannot wait to throw that flag until the play is done. So it doesn't matter. Even if that is offensive pass interference, you should have called it when it actually happened instead of waiting to see if he's going to catch that ball. Why no super chats? Dr. Mike, I don't know. You should have super chats available to you. Broski Bear, I think here's the thing. You can call it an offensive pass interference, but if you want to make it the right call, it should have been done right then and there, and not until after the play is over with. I mean, that's just way too late of a call. Way too late of a call. They probably weren't going to call it if the pass was incomplete, in my opinion. I mean, there are so again, I'm going to continue to go through some more calls here. Here's another one, chat, right here. That one right there. Nick Scott was flagged for a defensive pass interference when the tight end clearly trips over his own feet. That is not interpretation. That is malpractice. And see, that's the thing that's frustrating, chat, is like when we get in these games, these are like these types of games is when the momentum are killers, bro. These are killer momentum game calls. Super chats are not showing up on my end. I'm trying to send you some money, Clay. I appreciate that, Dr. Mike. You can send it to my Cash App or Venmo if you rather. And then put what and then unless you're trying to put it, so I put it your statement on the screen. But again, so those types of plays, and we went through all of them, man. Those are momentum killers, and here's the thing: each of these called matter in its own right. Together, they were devastating as the other. I mean, we were trying to claw our way back in a tight game. They needed rhythm, they needed field position, momentum. Instead of every time something positive happened, a flag or a missed flag, or something was wiped away, like the worst one out of all of them was the Tedero McMillan OPI. That was the real backbreaker, in my opinion. Because in a game where it decides inches, right, and in seconds, that one call may have been the difference between Carolina playing for a champion. Immediately saying we were already NFC South champions instead of us waiting to see if Atlanta's going to win, right? I think you could also going to make the case that the dead call on Rico Dowdle, because the ball was thrown behind. Was thrown behind. It was not thrown forward. So here's the thing. It's just not this game, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this is a big problem in the NFL that keeps ignoring. Like, here's the part that should piss everyone off, not just Panthers fans. Like, should piss everyone off. Okay, is that the NFL, again, is a multi-billion-dollar operation. Yet these officials are still not full-time professionals, man. And the league shrugs off blown calls with post-game apologies while teams absorb the real consequences. We have to suffer the bullshit. And these mistakes don't just hurt. They hurt my feelings, man. They do. And they change seasons, and they alter playoff races. They affect jobs. They affect contracts. They affect legacies. And the standard, it keeps getting worse. This is where Belichick excelled. He knew the rules, would manipulate the hell out of them. Every opportunity, he would correct the refs. That is one thing, absolutely correct, Dr. Mike. That is one thing that is so true. That is one thing that is absolutely so true. That's why Belichick was so good. He was so good at manipulating shit, man, and making it to his advantage. Right. And that was a part of it, man. Guys, we've got 33 people watching. We got some people slacking. I need y'all to make sure you pound that like button, hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. We've got over 32 people on X. I'm looking at you guys right now. I appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, hit the heart on the live video post and make sure you repost it, share it with your friends, share it with your grandma. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to get in the chat over there as well. But shout out to Dr. Mike with that $5 donation. I greatly appreciate it. All the donations go back towards the channel. We are growing, man. We're almost, hey guys, we're almost to 7,000 subscribers, by the way. That's huge. That's huge. Almost 7,000 subscribers. So appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys. Only certain refs may, Dr. Mike, I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that not all these refs are making $400,000 a year. I've heard that a lot of these guys are. Let me look that up. Dr. Mike, there ain't no way that's right. There ain't no way that's right. Someone fact check him on that. I need a fact check on that $400,000 a year because let me go be a ref. Let me go be a ref. I'll go make $400,000 a year and be a referee. Shit. Regime, that dude with the $5 donation. Shout out to you, my guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my guy. $5.
Damn, son. Where'd you find this?
Yeah. Damn, son. Where'd you find this? Earl, I'm going to keep trying, man. Smash that like, subscribe. Appreciate that. The live stream for the playoff game is going to be lit. Yeah, we're going to be lit up in here. I might be drinking whole stream, D-Lee Spills. I ain't going to lie. I might be drinking the whole game. I might have to. To hold myself together, I might have to. You know, I might have to. We might have to be making something. All right. But let's get back to the officiating real quick. I'm going to say this, though. Was the real reason Carolina lost? Was the refs the real reason that Carolina lost? I'm going to say no. But it did matter a hell of a lot. I will be fair. We had our chances. They didn't play a perfect game. No one's pretending otherwise. But when you're fighting an uphill afternoon against a division rival, hostile conditions, some very, very questionable officiating from early on until the end, officiating didn't lose Carolina the game by itself, but it sure as hell didn't give them a fair chance. That's for damn sure. So, but shout out to the Falcons today. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Falcons. Clay, I drink every day, Clay. I don't think that Earl, I don't think that's a good thing. It's probably something you probably should. Earl, that's probably something you probably shouldn't say. It's like some things are better left unsaid, buddy. He said I drink every day. Oh shit. You might want to Some things are better left unsaid, Earl. That's too funny. That's too funny. Shout out to Earl, though. In this game, I'm going to say this about the defense. I'll say this about the defense real quick. Let me pull up the defense real quick. I mean, we look at the defensive stat line. You can see it here. Tackles, assists, sacks. So 3 and 3. Tackles, assists, a sack. Okay. I think the defense did enough for us to win this game. All right. Lost in all the chaos is the fact that our defense showed up yet again, despite being out with some key injury players like Tershawn Wharton, and then Bobby Brown goes out. But we settled in after the opening drive, and we played very well, disciplined, physical football. We forced some key stops. I felt like we limited a lot of explosive plays. And they made timely takeaways, including a huge interception by Christian Roseboom, which I think he deserved an extension. I don't think you have to pay an astronomical amount for him. But I think he would be a nice guy to bring in and sign him maybe on another 2-year deal, right? Nothing crazy. I know Baker Mayfield, for some annoying third down conversions, was scrambling. I mean, he had 31 yards off of 4 carries. I mean, yeah, I know Tampa Bay converted 8 of 15 third downs, but that's on your defensive coordinator. It's not the defense's fault. Our defense on 3rd and long, for some reason, Evero just decides to not set up this defense for success. And that's where, again, we talk about it. The 3rd and long is a disaster. It's been a disaster. It's really been unacceptable. There's really no excuse, none of it, for how often this defense gives up 3rd and 8+, 3rd and 12, 3rd and forever. This is where your Jiro Evero shows up most clearly, and Evero keeps coming up short, right? Your pass rush lanes, there's no quarterback containment. The soft zone sticks defense, zero creativity to close. You're getting beat on 3rd and long isn't just frustrating. That is a coaching indictment, and I think those situations should favor the defense, and we continue routinely hand them right back. That's one thing I can't stand with the Jiro Evero soft zone defense. All right. I can't stand it. A Jiro Evero to the Falcons, I doubt that. They like their defensive coordinator over there. They need an offensive coordinator, if anything. Wait, the Falcons fired Morris? No way. No shit. He was fired? The Falcons have fired Raheem Morris, moving on after 2 frustrating seasons, doing so. Wow. Damn. I mean, Drake London and Bijan Robinson were among Falcons players who openly said that they want him to stay. Atlanta makes the decision to move on. Man, watch Atlanta go get like Clint Kubiak or somebody, man. Watch him go. Man, why'd y'all got to fire Raheem Morris, man? I was hoping he'd stay. I thought he was good for the Falcons. You know what I mean? I'm just being a dick. But hey. Smell you later. Smell you later. I will say this, chat. What would y'all think about getting rid of Giro Evero and hire Raheem Morris as your defensive coordinator? That defense was still nasty now. Raheem Morris messed up when he hired Zach Robinson as his offensive coordinator. I'm just saying. Raheem Morris had that defense rolling, man. I'm just saying. Hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd happily. Listen. What Raheem Morris brings to the table from a defensive coordinator standpoint, I'd happily hire him as the Panthers' next DC over a Giro Evero. I would. If I had to choose between Raheem Morris and a Giro Evero, I'm taking Raheem Morris. Just saying. I'm just saying. Raheem Morris has a better resume than Giro Evero does. Go look it up. Go look it up. No, Raheem Morris runs a 4.3. Pretty sure. I'll look it up right now. I'm looking it up right now. Let's see what style defense run Raheem Morris run. Yeah, he runs a cover 3 principle. So he runs a base structure 4-3 defense. Yeah, that's what he runs. I just said Raheem Morris would be a better defensive coordinator than Giro Evero. That's just my opinion. It's one man's opinion. You might be right on that, Dr. Mike. You might be right on that. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about this play right here. My God. Besides the penalties, there was one play for me that decided this whole game. Chat. Let me find it real quick. Where is it at? Is this it? Oh, God. Yeah, watch this dumbass play. And you know what play I'm talking about. This one play changed everything. It was inexcusable. This game was still there to be won in the fourth quarter. Carolina was driving. We're inside their 20-yard line. We're in the red zone. We're in position. We were building pressure. Then Dave Canales decides to get cute. And he calls this stupid-ass flea flicker in the red zone on a soaked field. That is coaching malpractice. The field is condensed at this point, chat. So defenders aren't biting. The margin for error is microscopic. Daddle slips on that pitch back to Bryce Young, ball on the ground, and the game really effectively over at that point. There's aggressive, there's creativity, and then there's just a dumbass. That was dumbass. I'm just being completely honest, man. This is the dumbest play I've ever seen inside the 20. Inside the 20. You run a flea flicker. This is where I keep saying that this is where I keep saying Dave Canales' situational play calling is a problem. This is the biggest red flag. It keeps showing up. These bad calls on 3rd and long. He's worse. He's gotten better on the calls on 4th down, but there's been some pretty bad calls on 4th down. But this takes the cake for trick plays in the worst possible moments. And overthinking when simplicity would win. Like this flea flicker against Tampa wasn't just a bad call. That is a situational failure. It's a wet field. You're in the red zone. You're building momentum. 3 downs available to you. That's when a head coach has to protect his offense and not try to get cute as hell. This isn't a one-off, though, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this. This is an absolute pattern. Even on the sideline, you could read Bryce Young's lips after this play. Goes, I don't know why he called that play, talking to Andy Dalton. Terrible. Terrible. So bad. So bad. That was the play that just absolutely cooked us, man. And it is. And it did. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? But let's get back to this. Let's talk about J.C. Horn. Guess what? He's not on this list right here, chat. He does not have any stats in this game. You know why? Because they didn't throw his way. If you watch closely in this game, you probably didn't notice J.C. Horn much, right? That's because Tampa Bay did not want a damn thing to do with him in this game. Just like Week 16, the Panthers avoided J.C. Horn almost the entire game, right? He wasn't targeted. He wasn't tested in this game. He was erased from the game plan, which is exactly what elite corners do to opposing offenses. His box score won't scream impact, but his presence is obviously absolutely felt, and it mattered. So I'm just being completely honest with you. All right. But let's go to the man of the hour, man. Let's go to the man of the hour. You always know who the man of the hour is. It's Bryce Young. Bryce Young. I mean, what can we say about the kid? What can we say about the kid? He showed some growth. Bryce Young showed some growth in this game, chat. Bryce Young showed some growth in this game. You know, what I saw from, and I'm going to break everything down in this game, or about his game in this game. I'm going to say this first. Play action is still and always will be and was in this game Bryce Young's best weapon. Because the conditions in this game, right, with the rain, slick footing, timing thrown off, basically a nightmare for passing offenses, right? We couldn't run the ball, right? Worth shit. So Tampa had to respect basically had to respect it just enough for Bryce Young to lean on the play action. When he got looks, right? When he got those looks, and he was very effective. His play action gave him extra time in this game. A lot clearer reads, a fighting chance behind an offense that wasn't, winning many one-on-ones. He delivered some really clean throws, especially to receivers like Bryson Tremaine and Jimmy Horn Jr. And actually, let me pull those clips up real quick. Let me pull those clips up real quick. Actually, let me go back to that. Let me go over into here. Let me pull the film room up. Let's go here. Let's go to Bryce Young. Let's go passing. Let's go no play situation. I don't need that. Let's go play resulted in a completion. And let's go to This one. Like, this is a perfect example right here, chat, of how Bryce is good with his play action way. He's able to roll out, and that's just a clean throw. That's what I was talking about, right? This matters moving forward, these types of play. Let me go find the Jimmy Horn Jr. one real quick. Yeah, like this one was crazy right here. This one was crazy right here. The way he was able to make some really clean throws like this. Rolls out, pressure in his face, just throws this little touch pass. Again, those types of play right there. Again, moving forward, until we really find pass catchers who consistently separate beyond Tedero McMillan and maybe you could even say for Jalen Coker, but I think you need to see Jimmy Horn Jr. on the field more. I think you need to see Bryson Tremaine on the field more, right? We really need to start moving some of these other guys in there and keep the guys who aren't, move them out, right? I even would say you need to throw Bryson Tremaine in the tight end spot, just because, again, he's got that wide, he's got the height but he's got more speed, But again, throws like that should have kept drives alive, and not, and again, there was a lot of throws in this game. I felt like for Bryce that he had some key moments where, there were some drops, right? And again, I think until we find someone who can consistently separate beyond really T-Mac, play action has to stay up front, right, in center. It's not a cure-all thing, but it's almost a reliable way for this offense to really function right now, in my opinion. But again, the footwork, like we were just watching some of these clips, man. Like the footwork for Bryce Young it was so good in this game. I'm gonna give the kid his flowers again, and I'm not sitting here saying he's the franchise guy yet. Y'all know me. Y'all know how I feel. Let me get to a super chat. I see it here. Tell the truth. Bijan is the man of the hour. Bijan is the best running back in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. Right now, currently, Bijan Robinson is the best running back in the NFL. It's not even close. Well, the performance he's put on this year, just a well-rounded back. He can power through tackles. He can get outside. He can get in the slot. He can just do it all, man. There's nothing that guy can't do. He's a freak. And I think Bijan going forward will be a better running back than Saquon Barkley. Thank you for the $2 donation. Shout out to Dr. Mike. So let's continue with Bryce's performance. I thought his footwork in this game showed real growth. If you're looking for one area, I think where he has clearly leveled up, it is his footwork. Even in the awful weather, right? The way he's able to like slip out and make plays and stuff like that, right? Changing cleats, struggling to stay balanced. Look, he looked composed. His drops are cleaner, right? His base is more consistent. I think when pressure arrived, he trusts his legs instead of panicking. That's a huge deal, right? Let me find a better one of him dropping back. Let me look at this one real quick. This might be the play I'm looking for. I think this one might actually show how good his drop back has gotten cleaner. Yeah, that's a clean drop back. Boom. And he sets his feet. That's the biggest thing. When you watch it, just watch his footwork here, because Bryce used to look like he had ants in his pants back there. Titter-tatter, tipper-tapper, back there. And that's the thing. The Buccaneers weren't shy to bring the heat. They're rushing 5 there. So his ability to side reset, and then there was other plays too. Let me see if I find one where he escapes. But his ability, I think he does this in this Tommy Tremble one, because this is the Tommy Tremble touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. So we watch it here. Oh. Yep. Yeah, I mean, he kind of moves outside, but the way he slid over he slid and reset, right? I'd love to see that play. I would love to see that more often, chat. I would love to see that more often from the tight end position. Right? Look at him. He slides over, sees team you know. Let's watch this play here. Because this is another thing that I like about Bryce. Pressure coming. Okay, see how he's able to escape, keep his eyes downfield, and he's even on a slippery field. He did this couple of times to keep plays alive. That would have been sacks earlier in his career, but mechanically hit the way his lower body's finally matching what his upper body has always wanted to do. Again, it won't show up in the box world, but it's one of the most encouraging signs from this game, and really the season as a whole, is his footwork. I really do think that a lot. I think another thing that helped Bryce in this game, though, was the tempo help, but it came in too late. Let me see where I find the more tempo plays here. I think it was really when it started from T-Mac right here. We really saw the more up-tempo plays. Yeah, it looks like this is more up-tempo. Yep. Bryce Young, the thing is that people don't realize is Bryce is a up-tempo quarterback. Right? When things flow, he's very decisive, right? He's a very confident. And when they don't, everything feels really like uphill. Like in this play, for example. All right. Hold on. I'm trying to fix something here. So in this play, for example, you're going to see Bryce. Let me find it real quick. Trying to find what I was looking for. So you watch this play here, right? All right, let me back it up. So you watch this play here. So the Bucs call a C3 fire zone. Basically, the protection's going to hold up. You're going to see Bryce scramble up. Horn post takes the single high, which is Winfield, to allow T-Mac to work free off that dig route to open up the middle of the field for a 19-yard gain. That's what you're going to see. All right. That's what you just saw. But those types, see the up tempo you see from Bryce that's what he is. He's a rhythm quarterback. When things flow, he's decisive and confident. When they don't, everything feels uphill, right? It's almost like golf. There are golfers who are very up tempo. They're better golfers when they're able to just get up to the ball and hit it. And there's golfers that really take their time that are better that way. Bryce is one of those up tempo guys. Like, Tampa controlled the clock very early in this game, and they forced us into catch-up mode, right? And once we finally picked up the tempo, that's when Bryce, you started seeing, look more comfortable, right? He was decisive. He took what the defense gave him. He stopped forcing hero throws. And when the offense finally showed some life, which makes the infamous flea flicker call even more infuriating, that's when it in these soaking conditions, that's just a drive killer, right? But what I want to say in this, though, with Bryce Young is that he didn't collapse. But I do want to be clear. He didn't get help either. He really didn't get a lot of help in this game. You got to think about it this way. When you're running back, combined for 19 yards on the ground, so you had no run game. You know what I mean? You had no run game. But this game came down to the moments, right? Where Bryce just kept pushing, even when everything around him made it harder than it should have been, right? Or really needed to be. The run game was non existent, but in that supporting cast didn't consistently win, but there drops the race opportunities. We noticed that the field conditions really was neutralizing the timing in this game. And the defense, despite playing well, still gave up some backbreaking conversions to Baker Mayfield scrambling, but also the third and long situations that, again, we talked about already. And Young tried to match it. And sometimes he did. Sometimes he came up just short, right? And his touchdown throw to Jalen Coker, let's go watch that real quick, which that was an absolute sick-ass fucking throw. Let me find it here. Like this touchdown throw to Jalen Coker, it was a beautiful pressure-packed moment. I mean, for Coker to go up and get that, it just wasn't enough. Like he never got. I mean, you can't place the ball better, and for Coker to make that, it's just insane. It's just insane, bro. It really is. But it again, it just wasn't enough, and he never got the ball back with a real chance to really tip the scales. Now instead of so again in this game, Bryce Young didn't melt down, but it wasn't like it was a superstar takeover or anything. But again, he showed some real progress. While I'm still needing things around him to function properly, I'm needing Dave Canales to meet him halfway. But again, I need Bryce Young to also be more consistent and take care of the football and just have games like this where you go out there and you take what the defense gives him. And again, there's just times where Bryce just tries to do too much. And again, in the Seattle game, God, I don't think there was anything that Bryce could do. I really don't. I don't think there was anything that Bryce could do. He's just not that type of quarterback that can really, not necessarily saying like he could take over a game, but or elevate the guys around him. But there was just nothing, and the adjustments from Dave Canales were not going to come. But again, I just felt like this was a very beatable Tampa Bay team. We just did not do enough collectively. Bryce Young paid the price for it, especially when he having a performance like this. And again, he wasn't the reason for the loss. People say, well, that one interception. Well, what about drops that could have put us in field goal range, or could have been a big chunk play, or same thing with, the penalties, and what about the play calling, right? Again, you got to put that in perspective too. All right. He wasn't good enough to erase everything else that went wrong. You can only do so much. Right. And that's the truth. As frustrating as this game was, man, it doesn't undo what Bryce Young has shown in the second half of the season. It just reminds everyone that growth doesn't always come with instant payoff. And I think this team still has a lot to work to do before the moments like this really swing our way. But again, the job's not done, man. The job is not done, right? The job is not done. And here we are, NFC South champions. NFC South champions. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I posted this on my Twitter. Let me pull it up, the NFC South championship stuff. It's crazy, man. Xavier Legette, I've had a lot of people say that Xavier Legette needs to be taken off of that image. Do y'all agree? I'm just curious. Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree that Xavier Legette should be taken off that image? What's up, Carolina Real? Clay, excited to get David Moore and Robert Hunt back. We'll see. Would like to see Bryce under their Chip Kelly's offense. Interesting. I just saw our opponents for next season. Gonna be tough. Damn, they already got the schedule out, huh? Right now, Bryce Young is ranked 16 among quarterback in stats. Is that his ceiling? If not, what is it? I think Bryce can do more, man. I really do. Again, he just sometimes, Josh, I feel like he just does it to himself. He shoots himself in the foot. Sometimes the play calling's an issue. The run game's not there. There's a lot there. Again, it's so much up and down this season. It's like you feel like you say you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. If you say one or the other, right? That's the way I look at it. Because I could sit here and tell you that Bryce could go further, and he might not. And then I could tell you that he's not going to go further, and then he does. That's that. I don't know. I would like to see. I hope he could do more. I hope he can. But am I going to hold my breath? Absolutely not. That's a good question, though. That is a great question. Where is it? I just saw it too. So Josh, Bar 13, I appreciate you asking that question. That's a great question. That is a very good question. I like that question a lot. We got 29 people watching. I appreciate you guys. Actually, we got more than 29 people watching. We've got a total of 63 people watching. So if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching on X, drop a follow. Appreciate you. Should be Coker right there. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So let's talk about the NFC South Championship, man. Let's talk about it. I'll tell you what, we didn't win this cleanly. You know, we they didn't clinch on their own field. They didn't win the final game. You know, we didn't finish with a winning record. Yet here we are. For the first time since 2015, chat. NFC South champions. First time since 2017 that we were heading back to the playoffs. It took a lot of chaos. It took a tiebreaker. It took a little help from some familiar faces in Atlanta. And the end result is real, man. Banners don't ask how. They just ask who. You know what I mean? And thanks to the Atlanta Falcons, who won 19-17, win over the New Orleans Saints. Carolina officially won the NFC South in a 3-way tiebreaker, and Atlanta and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all three teams finished 8-9. And because the Panthers handled their business against Atlanta and swept them, and then split with Tampa when it mattered early in the season, they come out on top. Ugly, absolutely legitimate by the NFL rules. It is 100%. The question I have to ask you, chat, though, is how the hell did this happen? Like, the Panthers' playoff fate was in the Atlanta Falcons' hands. They flipped, and the Saints were driving late. They were threatening to steal that win, too. That would have sent Tampa Bay to the postseason instead, and then it unraveled. But then D. Alford, the one guy that I have actually clowned on Atlanta's team multiple times because he hasn't really been that good. But a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans say otherwise, but I've seen him get cooked a lot, but more than he has made plays. But that's neither here nor there. Shout out to D. Alford because he stepped in right in front of a pass from Tyler Shook, intercepting it in the red zone, returning it all the way near to their red zone. And that was just a gut punch. That was game over for them. Atlanta bled the clock, forced New Orleans to burn timeouts. Then, of course, Zane Gonzalez, the former Carolina Panthers Kicker hammers it home, 4th and goal of the game to seal it. And the Saints tried an onside kick, right? They didn't get it, and just like that, we're in. And it's poetic in the most NFC South way possible. I'll say that. A title. I'll say this. I feel like the title is both earned and accidentally found. Okay, what do I mean by that? Is like, let's not bullshit here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We got to be a little bit fair. I know a lot of Panthers, you guys and Panthers fans have mixed emotions, but we lost to Tampa Bay last night. And we absolutely had a chance to clinch on their own terms and didn't. And we let it slip and overthought things, and they let the moment get away from them. And that sting, that sting is still fresh. And yes, at 8-9, the Panthers are the only playoff team in the field with a losing record. But here is the counter argument that I have, and it's a rock solid counter argument. We beat teams that they needed to beat. We beat teams that we weren't technically supposed to beat. We weren't even supposed to be in this situation. We swept the Falcons. We dropping 60 points across 2 games on them and allowing just only 27 points. The second matchup went to overtime, where Bryce Young set the franchise single season passing record on them. Those wins are exactly why the tiebreaker tilted Carolina's way. Meanwhile, we had the Saints, who swept us, are also the sole reason this came down to Sunday's chaos in the first place, because if the Panthers had split those games, which they probably should have, this wouldn't be even a conversation right now. We would have already had this conversation. It's football, though. It's always going to be messy. It's always going to be unfair. It's always going to be what we don't expect. Sometimes it rewards the team that just survived the bullshit slightly better than everyone else. What comes next? We got a home playoff game, and I think we got the Rams, right? We got the Rams. So, it's like, no matter how cursed one might be, we locked in that 4 seed. We host a wild card playoff game here in Charlotte. It's going to be the LA Rams. And either way, it's going to be it's a NFC West rematch. Either way, it would have been an NFC rematch, because if it would depend on the San Francisco too. But is it ideal to host a 12-win team when you finished under 500? I'd say obviously not, but again, we beat that team, remember? And there are worse scenarios that we could be in. We already beat the Rams at home this year. And I know the 49ers are dangerous and banged up and far from unbeatable, but also worth noting the Seahawks are out of the picture, right? So small victories matter. Here's the thing. Perspective matters, though, especially with this. Even when it feels wrong, I think this is the part where people want to argue about deserving it. That's fine. Argue away. Argue away. You can argue with a brick wall for all I give a fuck. The reality is simple. We get to play another game. We get to watch it, while others get to watch their teams go to Cancun and sit on their couch and have to watch us play. Right? So after years of irrelevancy, after all the coaching chaos, the quarterback purgatory, the meaningful football in January actually exists in Charlotte. And again, I predicted us to have a real progress year. I predicted us to actually have the 8-9 record, which is crazy. I actually got something right. I've actually had a lot of things that I've said on this channel right, but found real progress at the quarterback position. Maybe the franchise, I don't know. I'm just going to say we found real progress at the quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. You establish a legitimate number 1 wide receiver, T-Mac. You built a defense with an actual foundation, but I will say from a defensive standpoint, I would prefer someone else coaching, but that's just me. But your GM and your head coach changed the culture enough to survive the NFC South, right? Again, is this team perfect? Absolutely not. Is it flawed? Absolutely. Are they still playing while others are packing their bags? Hell yeah, they are. And that's all that matters. So, yeah, the path we took was stupid and ridiculous and really shouldn't have been that way. But this division is ridiculous. And the math made people angry, right? But here we are. The NFC South champs. We're hosting a playoff game in the first time in a damn long time. Keep pounding actually means something again. Keep pounding, bitch. That's all I got to say. Clay at the super chats. There's more? There's more? If my kid won a trophy the way we won the South, I wouldn't take them for ice cream. You won our own accomplishments, not someone else's. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Shout out to Dr. Mike with that $2 donation. Appreciate it. Let's see here. In golf, lucky or good, right? Got another week of football. We do. I tell you what, if this team has had some good luck and some bad luck, but I'll tell you this right now. I feel like we had more bad luck. I don't know. It's just crazy to think about where we are as a team, man. Oh, they mad, dude. You know what's funny? I had a Falcons fan go on my X account and literally I posted up that video about I posted the video of Ric Flair saying to be the man, you got to beat the man. And he got mad about it. He got mad about it. And he comes up on there and he goes, he's just talking smack to me. It was just funny. I was like, you're an Atlanta Falcons fan. How can you be mad at me? Or like, how can you talk smack to me? I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny. That's all. What's even funnier though, chat, is this. This is even funnier. Oh crap, go back. This is even funnier. Let me download this image real quick. I'm going to try to get this one uploaded more. Hold on. I'm going to bring it back up. Sorry. This is funny. This is funny right here because we were talking about it. I talked about it in my short, though. I think it's just funny how, like, Ohio State won a title. J-Lo got divorced. We win the NFC South. Like, again, it's just like I said. Football is weird as hell, man. Football is just weird as hell. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. It's just crazy to think about, man. It's crazy to think about. Oh, I meant to change my overlay. I had another overlay for you guys. Oh, well, I'll leave this one up. Watch it be watch it between us and the Jags for the 30th anniversary. What would be funny if the Jaguars make it to the Super Bowl and we made it to the Super Bowl or something like that? Or instead, in this situation, or we do, or again, it would be funny if we made it to the Super Bowl. Or what would even be more funnier is if, like, I don't know, that would be funny. It would be funny if the Jags and us made it to the Super Bowl, and then in this situation right here, that would be the most funny part, in my opinion. But again, we're in, man. We are in. That's all that matters. Where's Panther Pickle? Is he in here? What's up, Panther Pickle? Appreciate you. Atlanta Falcons fired their head coach. Saw that. And GM. Did not see that. Damn. The Falcons fired their head coach and GM after they win to send the Panthers to the playoffs. Clay, that's what she's saying, us versus Jags, since we came in at the same time. Yeah, true. That's fun. That's true. That's true. That's funny that Panther Gal says that. That's funny that the Panther Gal says that. It's pretty funny, Panther Gal. That would be crazy. Because then I would have some really superstitious. Because then I'd be like, okay, if Ohio State wins it, are we opening up against the Jags? I'd rather be one and done than none and done. I understand that. You know what's crazy, chat? I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be completely honest with you guys. After yesterday's game, I'm not going to lie to you. I was already looking at draft. I was already looking at draft prospects. I was already breaking down draft prospects already. Not going to lie to you. Not going to lie to you. Dr. Mike says NFL equals WWE. You might be right on that. There could be some speculation there. Hey, there are rumors about Pitts to Carolina. What do you think about that? Kyle Pitts to Carolina? Where are you seeing that at? And I'm going to have to look this up now. Kyle Pitts to Carolina. That's a fun question. Here's the thing. I'd be interested, but only at the right price, Andrea. Only at the right price. That's a great question. I would only be interested if it's the right price, because Kyle Pitts makes sense on paper, but it can't be a desperation move or something like that, right? Like Bryce could use some help in the middle of the field, and Pitts is the best on seams and overs and play action crossers and all things Bryce actually throws well. Our tight end room is thin as hell. Sanders, is hurt out for the year. Trimble has been a role player. I'd like to see, again, I've wanted to see more of this tight end room. The crazy part is Pitts is only 25 years old still. Feels like he's been in the league a lot longer. So I think if you drop Pitts into Carolina's offense and you use him like a big slot move tight end, he's instantly will be the best mismatch Bryce has outside of Tedero McMillan, right? But the only way I'm doing it, if I'm Dan Morgan, is unless a day 3 pick or a conditional like mid-rounder. I'm not going to have no bidding war. I'm not going to go no extension until he proves it. Like, if Atlanta wants real draft capital, I'm out. I'm out. I'd be out. That's all I'm going to say to that. Mock draft money, not this week. It was about to be. Take you some fake roses to your round table tomorrow to the That's funny. Clay, it was in Cat Crave about Pitts to Carolina. Interesting. I found it on Bleacher Report, but it didn't take me to Cat Crave. I didn't even click on the link. So did not see this outcome on my bingo card either, Panthers gal. I think I like bingo now. Yeah. We need pass rushers in the early rounds. No more wide receivers in the first round. Not gonna lie to you, it just depends where Brad. Unfortunately, it's gonna depend where we're at on the draft and who's available on the board. That's the only issue it's gonna come down to. Who knows? Who knows? Linebackers, edge rushers in this draft class are gonna be huge, and it's stacked. I even like the tight end class too. I even like some of the tight ends in this class. I wouldn't be surprised if they look at that. I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina also, chat. If I would not be surprised if Carolina might take a look at a few quarterbacks to bring in for some competition. I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Not saying that they're going to pick somebody early in the early rounds, but I wouldn't be surprised if they may take like a late hit on somebody. I would not be surprised. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Would not be surprised. So, guys, again, keep pounding actually means something again. And again, here we are. Here we are. Low Country God says, no. I think he's talking about what I just said about the quarterback. But I wouldn't be surprised. I could be wrong, but again, I'm looking right now, me currently look at the draft boards right now that I'm trying to put together. I've only been looking at linebackers, edge rushers, and tight ends currently, because this draft class is deep with those groups. From my standpoint, I think it's pretty deep. So they don't call us the Cardiacs for nothing, no reason. You're right. I mean, this season has definitely taken years off my life. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna die earlier now because of this season, thanks to this damn team. Well, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here again. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. We broke down the Tampa Bay game. It wasn't pretty. Some good, some bad, some ugly from that. Broke that all down front to back. And then we talked about winning the NFC South, man. Here we are. Here we are. So, again, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that post notifications bell. We also broke some game film down today, guys. So make sure you tell your friends, your family, come over to the Rob Star Report. I would greatly appreciate it. Panthers Nation, we are the NFC South champions. And again, you know what? It doesn't matter, man, what people say. We're playing football next week. And some of those people that are talking smack to you, guess what? They ain't. So all I got to say is keep pounding, bitch. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace.